What if I told you the man who controls over $2 trillion isn't even on Forbes' billionaire list? King Salman of Saudi Arabia doesn't own his fortune, he is the fortune. Behind the golden gates of Aramco, hidden islands on the Red Sea, and motorcades of gold-plated supercars lies a monarchy where personal wealth and national power are one and the same. We're talking about royal palaces that double as diplomatic war rooms, yachts guarded by military drones, and a private jet so luxurious it makes Air Force One look like economy class. But the real twist, his most powerful move had nothing to do with spending. In 2017, King Salman's son, Crown Prince MBS, turned the five-star Ritz-Carlton into the world's most extravagant prison. 200 billionaires and princes were locked inside, not with chains, but with chandeliers. The world watched in disbelief. And from that moment on, Saudi Arabia's power was no longer just about oil. It was about control, image, legacy. Stay till minute 11 and you'll see how a kingdom built on black gold is reshaping the world, not just with cash, but with culture, technology, and silent influence. Because when your net worth hits 2 trillion, you don't flex your wealth, you redesign the future. King Salman doesn't need a Swiss bank account. He has Aramco. It all started in 1938 when a gush of oil erupted from the sands of Tehran. That well didn't just change Saudi Arabia, it changed the world. Because from that moment on, Saudi Aramco became the single most profitable company on earth, now valued at over 2 trillion. But here's the game changer. In 1980, Saudi Arabia nationalized Aramco, seizing full control from American stakeholders. That meant every drop of oil, every dollar in revenue, every decision flowed through the royal family. Think about it, 10 million barrels of oil every single day. That's over $1 billion in daily revenue. And King Salman, he doesn't just benefit from that, he directs it. This isn't personal wealth tucked in offshore accounts. This is structural wealth institutionalized under one name, the monarchy, where other world leaders operate within budgets. King Salman operates above them. He doesn't just rule a nation. He runs a vertically integrated oil empire from extraction to export. And that's the difference. When a CEO retires, the board moves on. But when a king controls the pipeline becomes part of the throne. You might call it nationalization. But in Saudi Arabia, it's royalization, the art of turning state resources into sovereign power. And we're just getting started. Because if you think oil is the end game, wait until you see the palaces it built. In Saudi Arabia, palaces aren't just homes, they're tools of persuasion. Start with Al Yamama Palace in Riyadh, the official residence of King Salman. It spans hundreds of thousands of square feet. Inside, endless marble corridors, gilded halls, private mosques, Persian carpets so intricate. They took years to weave. Estimated value over $500 million. But its real worth lies in what it hosts: world leaders, billionaires, and secret negotiations that shape global oil prices. And that's just the beginning. Head west to Al Salam Palace in Jeddah, a beachfront fortress wrapped in Italian marble and Islamic geometry. Here, hospitality isn't a gesture, it's a geopolitical strategy. Every chandelier whispers you're in the presence of legacy. Then there's Maraba Palace, a relic of the early 20th century, originally built by King Abdulaziz. It now stands as a restored national treasure, connecting the monarchy's rugged origin to its golden present. Think of it as a museum, where the tour guides wear military-grade suits. And who could forget Al Aruba Palace, the same palace where President Trump was welcomed in 2017. Lavish courtyards, gold-trimmed conference halls, security that rivals a nuclear facility. But maintaining these palaces costs millions per year. Imported artisans flown in for restoration. Security teams rotating in shifts like clockwork. Because in a world where perception is power, Saudi Arabia builds palaces that talk before the king even speaks. Every column, every fresco, every drop of imported rosewater serves one message. We don't just rule, we impress. And if that's what they build on land, wait until you see how King Salman rules the sky and the sea. When you control $1 trillion, first class isn't enough. You need your own airborne kingdom. King Salman's signature aircraft is a custom Boeing 747-400 retrofitted into a flying palace. We're talking gold-plated fixtures, a throne-style seat, private prayer rooms, a full medical clinic, and even a dining hall large enough to host ministers in mid-air. Price tag over $520 million, not including fuel, maintenance, and the military escort that shadows it across continents. But here's where it gets surreal. This isn't just transport, it's mobile monarchy. Every takeoff is a statement. Every landing, a message the king is watching. On the seas, it's no less grand. King Salman's yacht fleet features private suites, 24K gold bathrooms, helipads, and entire decks dedicated to state receptions. Some vessels are so secretive, even their names are classified. And when the king truly wants to disappear, enter the Red Sea Island retreats. These private compounds cloaked in satellite jammers, no-fly zones, and elite security are more fortified than embassies. Airstrips, beachfront palaces, and underground bunkers turn these islands into sovereign micro-kingdoms. Few images exist. Fewer people have ever been inside. But make no mistake, these are not vacation homes. They are strategic sanctuaries used for high-level meetings, royal gatherings, and silent power plays. Now, let's connect the dots. Why such extreme privacy? Because in a monarchy where visibility is control, invisibility becomes the ultimate flex. And speaking of visibility, some symbols of power aren't meant to be hidden. They're meant to roar down highways, wrapped in gold. Get ready for the royal fleet. In Saudi Arabia, a car isn't just transportation. It's a rolling press release. Let's start with the gold-plated Rolls-Royce Phantom, custom-embroidered leather, bulletproof armor, a whisper-quiet cabin engineered for state arrivals. Estimated cost over $1.2 million. Then there's the gold Bugatti Veyron 1 200 horsepower, a pure spectacle. Value around $3 million. Its engine purrs like a lion fed with billion-dollar steaks. And if that's too subtle, how about the Lamborghini Aventador, also gold-wrapped, heat-modified for desert performance, and lined with Italian leather flown in directly from Florence. Price tag nearly $2.5 million. But here's the twist. These aren't hidden in underground garages. They appear at summits. They cruise past cameras. They star in parades and Instagram reels. Because for Crown Prince MBS, supercars are not status symbols. They're strategic props. Gold, chrome, limited editions, some gifted to dignitaries, others displayed like war trophies. Bentleys wrapped in white and gold, custom Ferraris designed for Middle Eastern royalty. Rumor has it over 100 vehicles make up the royal collection, housed in climate-controlled vaults with 24/7 military security. Maintenance performed by factory-certified technicians flown in from Europe. Every engine purrs on schedule. Every paint chip fixed before it can even be noticed. But let's not mistake this for indulgence. This isn't about driving, it's about dominance. Each time a golden Lamborghini pulls into a global summit, it sends a message louder than any speech. We don't follow trends. We fund them. But what happens when symbols of wealth become tools of fear? Let's rewind to the night a five-star hotel turned into the world's most luxurious prison. In November 2017, billionaires checked into the Ritz-Carlton Riyadh. They didn't check out at first. It looked like a high-profile royal gathering. But within hours, over 200 princes, ministers, and CEOs were detained, phones confiscated, security tripled. The five-star suites converted into holding cells. The chandeliers stayed. So did the butlers. But make no mistake, this wasn't luxury. It was lockdown. This was Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's boldest move to consolidate power. His message was clear. No one is untouchable, not even my cousins. Among the detainees, Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, once the richest Arab investor, worth over $20 billion. Others included media moguls, defense contractors, and oil magnates. But here's what made it masterful. There were no courts, no trials, just negotiations. Behind closed doors, settlements were struck. Over $100 billion in assets, properties, and cash were reclaimed by the state. Critics called it a shakedown. Supporters hailed it as a corruption purge. But either way it worked, not just in wealth recovery, but in reshaping Saudi Arabia's power structure overnight. And where did it happen? A luxury hotel? Why not a prison? Because optics matter. Because this was power, rebranded, velvet coercion, golden discipline, and when the world watched. They didn't see brutality. They saw efficiency, a new type of monarchy in motion. Today, tourists sip tea in that same lobby. They post selfies by the fountain, clueless to the fact that, just years ago, billionaires were bartering their freedom right where they now check in. In Saudi Arabia, control isn't always loud. Sometimes it whispers from behind chandeliers. But this was just the beginning, because to secure a dynasty's future, the next move wasn't punishment, it was reinvention. What do you do when you already control the past? You buy the future. Enter Vision 2030, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's master plan to transform Saudi Arabia from an oil economy into a tech-driven, innovation-led superstate. At its center, Neom, in a futuristic city the size of Massachusetts, cost over $500 billion. Design a 105-mile-long mirrored megastructure called The Line. No roads, no cars, just AI, clean energy, vertical gardens, and room for 9 million people. But the ambition doesn't stop there. Saudi Arabia is pouring billions into entertainment, sports, and tech. Remember Cristiano Ronaldo? He didn't just sign a contract. He became a soft power asset for a reported $200 million per year. The Public Investment Fund PIF has acquired major stakes in companies like Uber, Lucid Motors, Disney, and even Nintendo. These are not random moves. They're strategic entries into narrative-shaping industries. And it's working. Saudi Arabia is no longer just part of the global economy. It's quietly owning slices of it from Silicon Valley to Wembley Stadium. Tourism is next. Mega projects like Red Sea Global and Alula aim to attract 100 million visitors annually by 2030. Think desert resorts, underwater museums, and luxury eco-parks built for billionaires. But here's the deeper play. Vision 2030 isn't just a policy, it's a national rebrand. Youth empowerment, women entering the workforce, tech incubators sprouting in Riyadh, culture festivals replacing censorship. It's a calculated shift not just to modernize, but to mesmerize. Because when oil built your empire and optics build your future, you don't just adapt. You redesign the stage and start writing the global script. Some countries lobby for influence. Saudi Arabia writes a check. At the heart of this strategy is the Public Investment Fund PIF, a sovereign wealth fund valued at over $700 billion. But this isn't just a bank account. It's a geopolitical weapon in a Gucci suit. In 2021, the PIF made headlines when it purchased Newcastle United, a beloved English football club. The $415 million deal wasn't about sports. It was about narrative capture, rebranding Saudi Arabia through football fandom. And then came art. Remember Salvatore Mundi, the $450 million Da Vinci painting officially. The buyer was never confirmed, but leaks point directly to the inner circle of Crown Prince MBS. It wasn't just a painting, it was culture. Leveraged, the PIF also holds stakes in Uber, EA, Disney, Live Nation, and Lucid Motors. Why? Because these companies shape the future of transport, entertainment, media, and tech. It's long-term influence, not buy and sell, but buy and embed. And the branding, it is everywhere, from military parades with gold-trimmed vehicles to music festivals like MDL Beast Soundstorm. Saudi Arabia is no longer hiding behind tradition. It's remixing it. Picture a thobe in a Formula One garage, a falcon next to a robot, a prince funding your next favorite movie. It's no accident. Every gold-wrapped Bugatti, every $1 billion investment, every red carpet photo op is a stitch in a new narrative fabric. Saudi Arabia is becoming a lifestyle brand. And MBS, he's its creative director. Because in the 21st century, power isn't always about borders. It's about visibility. placement, and message control. But beneath all this, the jets, the palaces, the gilded strategy, one question remains: is this modern monarchy? Or monarchy wearing a mask? We began with a question: how does King Salman spend his $2 trillion fortune? But maybe the better question is, does he even need to? Because in Saudi Arabia, wealth isn't counted in bank balances. It's etched into marble, parked in gold, projected from mega cities built on sand. King Salman doesn't appear on Forbes, but his hand-signed billion-dollar oil contracts, his jet blocks airspace, his palaces host presidents, and his son just rebranded a nation while wearing a thobe and holding a VR headset. This isn't modernization, this is power, redesigned, where other monarchs fade into formality. Saudi Arabia has turned monarchy into strategy. Aramco fuels it, soft power refines it, and Vision 2030 launches it into the future. So now we ask you, is this bold leadership for a new era, or an old empire in a golden disguise? Tell us what you think in the comments. And if stories of hidden wealth, royal power, and unseen influence fascinate you, don't forget to subscribe. Because next week, we're exposing how Kim Jong-un moves in total secrecy and why some call him the richest president in the world.